Merry Christmas, I'm Johnny.
What the hell are you talking about? Christmas is over.
What, already? It went by so fast, and we didn't even make a Christmas episode.
Anyway, I'm Gabe, and today we'll be talking about the indie classic Cave Story.
You might have heard about this game thanks to its popularity, but in case you haven't, let's talk a bit about the story behind it. Cave Story is a freeware indie game from 2004, developed solely by Japanese developer Daisuke Pixel Amaya in his free time for over 5 years.
The game is very Metroidvania-like, with visuals and mechanics that remind games from the late 80s. It has grown more and more popular over time, being praised by many as one of the best indie games of all time, and was later ported to many other platforms.
You play as an amnesiac robot who stumbled across the plot of an evil doctor who wants to kidnap the bunny-looking Mimiga and weaponize their fluffy faces to wage war against the human race on the surface. Being a good, clueless protagonist, you set out to help the little guys and stop the mad megalomaniac without further questions.
I gotta admit, the story sounds most simplistic and flat, but as you meet a few characters along the way who are in serious danger and in need of your help, you start to care about their well-being in your mission. Despite the cute looks, their dialogues are as serious as they get, and as you move forward through the game and the bad guys' plans advance, it feels that more and more is at stake if you fail.
It reminded me a lot of Undertale actually, with the whole cutesy but serious tone of the game, even the visuals honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Toby Fox had used Cave Story as an inspiration for his own game.
The game is separated in a few short areas, usually linked to the Mimiga village by a teleport. In each, you often have to help a couple of characters, discover new types of enemies, maybe get a new ability, and platform a bit, till you reach the area boss and be sent back to the village. While you can return to the previous areas at almost any time, most upgrades and secrets are quite visible, so you won't likely be returning to re-explore them later.
Your movements feel quite floaty, but the platforming is rarely unforgiving, and even when it may cause death, there was usually a save point nearby to quickly continue from where you stopped. It just becomes a little annoying around bosses, as they tend to talk a bit before battling, and you can skip their conversation, so when you're having trouble in a specific fight, it can break the pace a little.
In talking about save points, there are no checkpoints in this game, so remember to save every chance you get. Otherwise, you will find yourself redoing a bunch of stuff over and over again. But overall, the game's not all that hard. That is, up to the final area, but we won't spoil why.
A very creative mechanic was introduced in the weapons upgrades. As you defeat enemies, it is fairly common for them to drop energy crystals that enhance your currently equipped weapon, by making it deal more damage, have longer range, and bigger projectiles. Some weapons even change almost completely once you reach the max level. The energy bar drops along with your health whenever you get hit. This way, the game constantly rewards you when you're doing better, and makes you find a balance between going more offensive with a stronger weapon while risking getting hit and downgrading it.
Like we said before, the game takes a lot of inspirations from NES and Super NES games, but it's not just made entirely with pixels and stuff. The original art and sounds are so retro that it actually has a fan-made port that runs on an actual Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, depending on where you're from.
We played Cave Story Plus, which was given for free at the Epic Store a few days back, and it's an updated version of the original, containing all the extra content released in the previous versions, with remastered visuals and sounds, plus a nice option to switch back to the originals. Also, there was a version released for the 3DS a few years back that had 3D graphics made from scratch that give a completely different look to the game. But honestly, they don't look as good as the original or the remastered.
The soundtrack is one of the aspects of the game that really shines, although it does have some controversies behind it, since the most recent versions of the game have some different options for you to choose from. So some people only like the original and hate the others, while some people like all of them, which was my case, but I will admit that some are better than others.
While being reasonably short, Cave Story makes up for it by having multiple endings. During your adventure, there are a few choices and actions you can make that impact which of the 3 endings you will get. You can also unlock the option to play through the game with another character, which gives even more replay value.
And if you're not following a guide, you'll probably miss your chance to get all of the game's endings in your first run. But to play through it all again wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Since the game is pretty fun, there are other difficulty levels to choose, and you can listen to one of the other soundtracks, making your newer playthrough sound fresh.
Cave Story has already been released for many platforms and the original one is still free, so if you have never played it, now you have no excuse not to download it and check for yourself.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like and consider subscribing to our channel to keep seeing more content like this.
And you may also want to check our last video about The Messenger, another awesome retro indie game.
See you next time.
And Happy New Year!